What's good, YouTube? My name is Stefano and welcome to a new tutorial. Today we're going to be building this chatbot for our Shopify applications. It's this one right here. We're going to train the chatbot using Llama 3. So we're pretty much going to create the pipeline training, and then we're going to do inference using a Flask API that's going to communicate with our Remix application in Shopify. So this is the chatbot here, and right now I'm running the server here in RunPod, and then the chatbot is right here. This is the Flask application, and this is our Shopify and Remix app right here. So as you see, we're logging everything. So let's give it a try. So let's ask a few questions. You can see this data set in my GitHub. It's gonna be in the links down below. So let's ask just the first question. So what products do you sell? Alright, so let's wait. We offer a variety of products, electronics, smartphones. Let's ask another question. So alright, let's ask this question. Do you sell phone cases? And you can pretty much train it on all the data that you want. I would recommend gather the most common questions that your customer asks if you're going to use this in a real store, and then just train it to the chatbot so it can answer any question. So let's ask one more. How can I track my order? How can I track? And yes, now this is the last question. So how can I track my order? And it's answering the question right here. So that was pretty much the introduction for the tutorial. So now let's start. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna set up the Remix project. I'm gonna focus on that first, and then we're gonna figure that out as we go along. All right, so if you need just help setting up the project, you're gonna have to come here to the documentation and read how to install the CLI from Shopify, and that's pretty much it, right? And you need Node, of course. So let's just go here to my terminal, and then you have to have a folder. Wait, yeah, YouTube, oops, and then here Shopify app init. Yeah, I think this is the command nowadays. So we're gonna wait, and then let's build a Remix application. We're gonna use TypeScript, and let's just wait. Alright, so we're going to create this as a new application. Yep, and then we're gonna call it a chatbot. Okay, so now we have to wait. This is pretty cool. They're gonna install the npm dependencies for us, so just have to wait. Don't worry, I'm gonna cut up this part. Okay, finally, after 100 hours, we're ready. We have node modules installed, so let's just navigate to here to chatbot. I'm not really sure. It took like, I don't know, I'm not gonna talk shit about my computer, but it took like 5 minutes. I think it's my internet that's pretty slow now. So we have the project here, and now let's open it, and now let's come here, ls here, and yeah, everything's ready. So now we have to install the Remix application in our Shopify store so we can see it, right? So I'm gonna have an extra terminal for the CLI because I want to see logs and everything. So let's just click enter here, and then let's go here and navigate again. YouTube, here chatbot, and then here npm run. I think I need, it's not gonna work. Shopify, I have to bring my EMBs, my environment variables, right? So Shopify app EMB pull. This is the command that's gonna bring everything from your, not really sure if it already has it, but it's right here. So if you want to hack my application, you're welcome, internet, right there. And that's it. So let's run the project, npm run dev. Now let's go back to NeoBeam, and I'm gonna show you, you need two things in order to set up an application. You need this, the Shopify app toml, and then you need your EMBs, right? And the Remix application, of course, a store, and well, you need more than two things, but to set up the project when you once you have Remix. I'm a little rusty with YouTube, but I'm gonna try to make more tutorials as I make time. So let's see what's happening here. So we're gonna click yes, and let's just wait a little bit longer. So there you go, we have our link. So let's click P, and it's gonna take us to our browser, and this is the chatbot. This is my Shopify store that I set up for this tutorial specific. And now we have a Shopify application. Congratulations, we have part 1 of the tutorial. So let's go and see everything's running perfectly here. And now let's go to I'm gonna open this bar. I'm gonna go here. Here I'm gonna go to routes, and then inside here the first thing I'm gonna create is the API and to call my chatbot, or should I create the widget first? Let's see. Let's make dear API.chat. Set the cd API the chat, and then inside here we're gonna create our API. Okay guys, so let's touch route to the ts, and then make here. I'm gonna put my loader here, or well, it's actually an action, right? Because we're gonna make API calls, right? So it's gonna be an action. So let's go inside action, and then let's touch index.ts. And yeah, some of you are gonna talk shit because I forgot the command of how to create files in NewBeam, but well, I can do it with the terminal just fine. It's cool. Let's go back here because I want to go back, and now let's go here. Let's just look at this. Let's look for API here. Perfect. Now let's go to the route first. Okay, so let's create this bar first. So we're gonna have an action function right here where this is basically our backend for the Remix application. So let's just create that for now. So it's gonna be an action, and then here, and then it's gonna be a synchronous. Oops, sync. Now let's grab the request object. Now inside here we need the type, so it's action function arguments, right? Function. Oh please, I don't have the args there. I think I'm gonna have to import it directly because it's not, the LSP is not working. And so now I have to import that. Import I'm pretty sure it comes from Remix Runode. So let's just type this action function args. It's this one right here. There you go. So I knew it. It was Remix Runode. So now we're gonna need JSON for now, but I think this is good for now because I'm not gonna do the API. I changed my mind. I think I should start with the UI so we get to see something on the screen. And yeah, why not? Let's see if my application's still running. Yep, we have the application right here. So let's go back to this full mode. So now we have to decide. I think I'm gonna create a folder for the component. We're gonna put the chatbot here in the index. Let me see the final part of the index. I'm gonna put the chatbot somewhere here. I'm gonna create a component where the chatbot is going to live. So we're gonna need a folder, right, where we're gonna put all their code. And then I'm gonna have an action, well, not an action function because I'm gonna use a fetcher. Yeah, oops. Factor this part because I'm not gonna use none of these things here. So let's just get rid of all this action function. Let's delete this. Let's delete this fetcher as well. Let's just put an empty well, let's leave the page and let's leave the title bar, or well, let's just get rid of everything, right? So let's just highlight everything and get rid of everything because we don't want nothing on this page. It has to be crystal clean. Okay, so let's delete it. All right, hopefully you all listen to me because I'm not talking too close to the microphone. I'm gonna try to if that's the case, I'm gonna try to edit the video to have a higher audio, talking, and then as I try to think how I'll design everything. So let's have a layout here. This is my convention. I always have a layout and a layout section. Well, let's just do it because I want to do it. Layout the section. And there you go. Something is going crazy with my LSP with NeoBeam, but oh. Let's grab these guys and delete this guy with this guy as well. What about this guy? This use effect goes, and this guy goes. Then this guy goes as well. I was about to say a bad word, but I don't want YouTube to complain, so I'm gonna try to keep it, civilized here. So everything seems to be working. Let's put a hello world inside our this layout section, but here I think I'm gonna have a text from Polaris. Text, is it this one? I'm not looking at, I'm not finding it, so I'm gonna go up here. Well, fuck it, I'm not gonna do a text because I think it needs a variant, and I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go to Polaris page and then look it up, so fuck it. No, let's just put a P. Let's keep it classy and just put a P tag here, and then hello world. Okay, let's see the server's running. Then we have a hello world. Perfect. So now that we have our component ready and it's clean for us, we're gonna go back to the chatbot, right? So we have to create the component of the chatbot, and then we have to import the component here. So let's go here, and now let's create the freaking component. So let's create the chatbot. So constant, and then it's gonna be a chatbot. And I usually never use these arrow functions because I hate the syntax, but I already started with the arrow function in the action, so I'm gonna stick to the convention. So yeah, why not? So we're gonna have our return here, and let's we can use a page, right? I'm not use plain HTML and CSS for the chatbot because yeah, I think that's gonna be the smart thing to do here. So let's close the div tag. Okay, perfect. So now let's put something inside. Hello. And now we have to export this guy, right? So export default chatbot. Let's save this guy here, and now it's here, and now we have the chatbot. Perfect. So let's go to the index page, right? So we're gonna go here. What the? No, telescope is not working. I have to update telescope. Oh my goodness. So I'm not gonna do that, don't worry guys. So I'm just gonna keep going. It's this one. So let's import the chatbot. So it's gonna be somewhere here. So what's going on? Server only module referenced by client. I think I know what's the problem. The problem is that this thing should be inside the routes folder. Make dir components and cd into components, and then touch chat bot.tsx. Now at least we don't have the typo. So let's go here, and then let's grab this guy, and then let's just take it. Let's kidnap this guy, and let's go here, and then here, and then here, and then boom. All right, so let's go here, and then I'm not gonna delete this file. It's just gonna be here. So make company to us. So now we need to update, right? Yeah. So delete this guy, and then it should be here. Let's take this guy, and let's save. And all right, perfect. I think is it working? Let's refresh. I'm not seeing anything on the screen. Yeah, it's right here. Hello from the chatbot, and then this is the layout. Perfect. Now everything's working. Let's create the. We're gonna need some state, but we're not here. We should be here. I'm gonna need some state. I'm gonna need some deeps. I think I'm gonna start with the deeps to create the chatbot, and then this is gonna be a container, like the our container. So let's put a class name here, and then call it the chat container. Okay, that's good. I think I'm gonna create the CSS file now, so I'm not gonna forget, and I'm gonna import this guy so we can see changes as we update everything in real time. That's a good idea. Yeah, so here let's put this chatbot.css, and now let's save it. But now we have to come here, and then let's create that, right? Touch chatbot.css. Nice. So now we have the chatbot CSS file. Okay, so let's keep going. So we're gonna have to say bye to our hello. So we're gonna have this is the container, and then below here we're gonna have a button, right? Something that toggles everything. It toggles the chat, right? So let's have a button here, and then let's put a class name tool for the chat toggle. Let's call it chat toggle here, and now we're gonna have it on click, but we can skip that, right? Let's go here and then put button, and then here we should have like some state, like a chat icon, and then when it's closed, like a cross, like an X. So we're gonna have some state here. So for now, let's just leave it. Oh well, I'm not gonna put anything because I want to see when I start styling, I want to see the changes on real time. So let's put just an X. Okay, so I'm just talking too much maybe, but well, let's who cares. Let's have our div here. So that's gonna be our container, right? So now we're gonna have the actual chat inside here. So it's gonna be a div here, and then we're gonna have another class name. Let's put this one, and then this is gonna be like the box, right? So chat box. Now we're gonna have a header. So let's have another div. And I know most of you probably didn't are watching this tutorial to watch me do HTML and CSS, but it's kind of cool. I'm kind of into it right now. At the moment, like right now, I think I like to visualize where everything is gonna go. So chat header, and then we're gonna have like an H4, or no, H4 it's fine. So H4 here, and this is gonna be like I don't know, chat with us, because it's gonna be a customer. It's supposed to be like a customer support chat. So yeah, and now we're gonna have another button here, all right, to close the chat. Okay, so let's have a button here, put this guy here, and now let's put an X just for now. Now let's put a class name, and then close the chat. Perfect. So now we have that container here. Now let's create the body, right? So now the div, let's close it. Now put this guy here, class, and then chat body. Let's save in case. Okay, we're still recording. So now in a second we're gonna create the logic that we're gonna have here, because we're gonna display our messages dynamically, and now we're gonna have a footer, right? Very simple. So have a div here, and now let's come here and then put this as the chat footer. and inside here we're gonna have an input and a button, right? So let's put let's put this input here, and I think it's just yeah, like that, right? So now let's put the button here. Now I want to put a placeholder because I want to see it with a placeholder. So put this button here, and now let's just click some send here. Now, all right, you're done. Let me put a class to you, and send button. And then you're gonna have a class name as well, chat input. And also let's put a placeholder. This is the most important part of the chat. So here, type your message and then some dots. Perfect. So save it, and now let's see what's going on. So yep, it's working. So we're okay, perfect. So now we have the chat. So now what we have to do, let's actually we want to see everything that's going to happen. So let's just here, let's put everything here. Well, we're gonna go to our CSS file now, right? So it's, I would just wish I could toggle on, but this thing 3-seater is not working. Have to update it, so fuck it. Let's go here, and then let's go here, now let's go here, and now the classes. So we're gonna have the chat container as first, chat container. Now that's gonna be like a position fixed. Guy is gonna be on the bottom, and then let's have some left, right, some 20 pixels as well, and we're gonna have a C index too because we don't want it to be we don't want it to be overflowed by anything from Shopify. So let's have an index here of maybe there, just in case, you know. Oops, and there you go. Now we are down. So what do we have to do next? And I have a typo here, that's why it's not working. Perfect. So the chat, it's in the corner, as you guys can see here with my mouse. So now let's have the toggle ready. Let's have some of the other properties ready. And you can always skip this part. I know it's kind of boring, but some people like CSS, also I've heard. So yeah, let's keep this part for the fans, the CSS fans, the stylers that want to see this tutorial. So background color, and now we're gonna have something. I have this in my notes here, so we're gonna have a B. So it's actually B700FF. Es un rosadito, and I'm forgetting this guy. Yeah. So now the color is gonna be white. We're gonna have the border, it's gonna be none. Let's have some width as well. None there. None. So we're gonna have a width of 80 pixels here. Now we're gonna have a height of 80 pixels as well. I had a typo. Radius. Oof, I'm struggling here because I don't have LSP for CSS. So yep, good for me. So border radius, perfect. So let's have a cursor or pointer. So it looks all nice. And now cursor, right? Yeah, let's have the font size of 30 pixels, perfect. Now let's have a display of flex. Line, items, center, content. So now let's have a justify content. Let's give our reasons, and now our reasons are very center. Okay, so center. Justify center. Did I type that? Justify content. Nice. So almost there, guys, almost there. Box, we're gonna have 6 pixels here, then RGBA. Now put some colors and 0 0 oops 0 0 0.2. Now let's go here, and then when we hover we want it to change color, right? So let's just type this chat toggle, and then have this guy hover here, and then boom, and then oh man, I'm just gonna go to here to the 25, and then yank this guy, go back here to 25, paste it. Now let's make it a little subtle, right? So go here. Now let's make it a 95 00B3. Perfect. So now let's see, and it's working. Nice. Let's organize these guys here. Now let's start with the chat box. So chat box, and here, and we're gonna have a lot of things that we can reuse, so we're not wasting our time here. So let's well, I don't mean it like that. CSS is never a waste of time, it's just styling, you know. Here, ah yes, perfect. So now what can we change from here? So the background color first is not gonna be this one, it's gonna be white. So let's take this guy out. So white, we're gonna have a color, I think, right? No, we don't have, we're gonna have a color. What about the border? The border is gonna be different, so we're gonna have a border, so it's gonna be 1 pixel, it's gonna be solid, and it's gonna be a DDD, right? So DDD, so some gray. Let's put some width and 350 here, and now the guy, okay, I see why this is not working. So I was missing those. Perfect, nice. Alright, still looks weird, but well, we're getting there, right? So we have this, and then the height for this guy is gonna be 450. Nice. Now we have a nice square here for the chat. Font, we're not gonna have a font as well. So what about the display? It's gonna be flex, but the flex is gonna be at your but we're gonna have a flex direction column, right? It's gonna be a column. So here, so flex direction. So perfect, beautiful. So what else do we have to align the items here? We don't have to do that. So boom, we don't have to justify the content. Now the other thing we have to fix is that our content or input and our buttons are in the middle, so we have to kind of like drag them down. So let's have a position of absolute here, and then the bottom is gonna be 100 pixels. Now we have to put this overflow here. All right, so let's keep going. So let's have a chat header, and for the chat header, it's gonna be, we're gonna use another things, right? So let's grab, for example, we're gonna have a background. So copy it, put it here, and now I have to give it a nice color. See, I have another typo here, and nobody's telling me. So here, white. Let's see how it looks now. Oh yeah, there you go, sweet. So now have to change the color here, right, for the header. we're gonna have a nice pinkish color, so 8400FF. Now let's have a color white for the font, padding maybe 10 pixels. Okay, so I think I can copy this justify content and align. So let's go to line 44 and let's grab these guys. Now let's go back to 42. Alright, so let's do the body and the header, and now we're gonna leave CSS for 1 second and then we can come back to it later. So let's have the chat body here, and we're gonna have a flex row 1. Let's have a padding. Alright, perfect. Looking sexy here. So we have the chat body, so now let's have chat footer. And I know I'm not really saying much, I'm just super concentrated on my CSS. So for these guys are gonna be a display, so where can we steal a display and a line item here? Center. Now we need a padding. Let's steal this guy here. Now for the background color, let's just grab this guy. See how that looks? Looks very bad. So let's change the color to something more clear. So F9. Alright, sweet. So now this is ready for now. I think it's good enough. We can see that it's a chat, so that's enough for me at least. So let's just go here now. We're gonna go back to the chatbot here to this part. So we're gonna need some state. That's the first thing that we have to do. So to open it, and then we're gonna create a small method to toggle between the state here. So let's just use state here, and then we can start initial state as false, right? So false here, right, and then set. Now let's have some method that's gonna call maybe toggle chatbox. Our row methods, like I said, so set open, and let's switch between the state, right? So is open. Alright, beautiful. So the first thing that we have to do here is, like I said, we're gonna have some dynamic button here because we wanna like make it look nice. So if the chat is open, we're gonna have this thing. So here does X, else we're gonna have an open for now. I'm gonna look for some icons later. So there you go. So now we're gonna have our body here, all these here as dynamic here. So let's put this guy here, and now let's if it's open, we're gonna have this guy here. Now let's put this guy here. Now when you toggle the chat, we're gonna have to open it, right? So it should be somewhere here. So we click toggle chat. Let's see, it's opening. All right, perfect. Now it's working. So let's go back here. And what's the next thing that we have to do? I think I'm gonna set up, so we have this part here ready. I'm gonna set up the fetcher so we can connect it to the route, right? We can start making the fetch method that's gonna talk to our backend. So we can start with that part. So here, so handle submit async here, synchronous function here, try. We're gonna need to debug, right? So here, console.log error, perfect. So that's one thing. So now we have to call our use fetcher, this one. Is it coming from Remix? Yeah, it's coming from Remix. So const fetcher. And we're gonna use the use fetcher because simple. We have our API in another route, so we want to fetch that route using the use fetcher, right? So yeah, pretty simple. So inside the try and catch, we have to have fetcher that submit right here. And inside here, here's where you're gonna pass your data. We are not gonna pass anything for now. We're just gonna test that fetcher is working. And inside here, I think it's another object. Yep, it's another object, and here you have to pass in your metadata form for the submission. So the method is going to be a post method. What else do we have? We have an encryption type here, and the encryption type is, it has to be this one, multi-form data. This one, multi-part form data. Sorry, and the action, and then in the action is where you actually are going to call the path of the API. So API.chat. The component, we're gonna wrap it on a Remix submission form. So just go here. Well, it has to be actually, it has to be inside. It has to be inside right here. So form from Remix, this one. So on the on submit, we're gonna handle the submit here. Now let's go to the route, because I'm gonna console something here. This guy is gonna complain like a bitch if we don't return anything, so let's just return null for now. And then console block. Alright, so here, then here. Is it working? Do we have a log here? Routes API that chat does not have an action. You're trying to submit to it. To fix this, please add an action to the function route. I know what happens. I put the action here because this is a convention that we do at work. We put the to make it more modular, we put the actions here in their own folder. Man. Alright, so we have to come here and then we just have to export it. So now now it should work. It has to work, right? Send. Let's check the logs. There, now it's working. Alright, so yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to create the fetch method. Here, see how it goes, right? So here, and let's make here models, and then cd models, and then let's call it call man here. All right, so we're gonna start creating the model. So we're gonna create the fetch. It's gonna be a simple fetch. So it's gonna hit our API. That's it. It's super simple. So we have to go here. So let me get out of routes and make the models here. So models here, and then touch chat server the TS here. Create the method here. So it's gonna have an export synchronous here. Then we're gonna pass a user message. Now let's in case of an error, let's return something so we can see it in the chat, right? We have the try and catch, so we have to wait here. Did I put the async? Yeah, it's there. So wait, and then let's go fetch, and so let's put everything here in our response. So const response, right? Post application.json. Nice. So so after the headers, we have to pass in the body user message. Sweet. We're gonna have a console log somewhere around here so we can see if the response. Now we have to call this API from the action method. Let's go on a quick overview. We created the fetch function that's going to talk to the backend, all right? We created the route here, this API chat route. This is what's going to call this method, and then this is going to send the data to our component, all right? It's this one. It's this index route. It's our first route in the Shopify application that has our chatbot, right? And then inside our chatbot, it's here in components. Here we are submitting the messages from the chat box. That's gonna be the entire flow of the application. We're gonna use Llama 3 to train, all right, to train our chatbot. It's not gonna be a chatbot, actually, it's gonna be an LLM. So we're gonna use Llama 3 from Facebook, and just to simplify everything and don't have to create a freaking pipeline, because it's I already tried and it's a lot of steps, and I'm gonna save that when I have it ready. I'm gonna save that for a sweet tutorial, because I haven't seen a tutorial like that on YouTube. We're just gonna use Hugging Face, all right? So this is what you're going to need for now. You're gonna need Hugging Face to pull Llama 3 with all the weights into our application, all right? So we need to have another terminal, and let's go here to YouTube. Let's come here and then make here API. Inside this API, we're gonna have just train the this file. But we actually have to get out here first, and then Python 3 mbnd emb. We're gonna need an emb because we're gonna have to install some dependencies, okay? Source emb bind activate. Right. Oops. Pip list, just to make sure. All right, so pip install pip install torch. All right, it's already installed, so that's why it took a long time here. And beam there, train. Okay, so let's go over the imports really quick. So let's first create a variable token. Oops. Token here, and then we're gonna have it empty, right? We're gonna use it later in the server. So we're gonna use this function just to log in, all right? All right, so here token, and then ht token. So in order to access this model from Facebook, you have to come here, and then you're gonna have to fill out a form here. Also, another thing you have to do is you have to log into your account, and then you have to create these tokens, and then you have to put the scopes for everything in order to pull the weights from here to your local computer, right? So we're here. So you would pass the token here instead of just using the CLI. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the quantization configuration, all right? And this pretty much is going to just specify that we're going to use a 60-bit precision. Let's create another variable here that's going to hold our configuration, so config here, and then let's call the bits and bytes configuration here. That's going to be pretty much used to reduce the memory requirements and just the computational cost of everything. Import the model, so let's have another variable here, model. Let's have another one here, another variable here, and auto model for casual LLMs. All right, perfect. So the device map property is just gonna ensure that the model is gonna be running our GPU and our first GPU, because you can, if you have multiple GPUs, this is just to ensure that you have it on the first one. So now we need a tokenizer, right? So tokenizer. All right, so basically now we just have to create the tokenizer and pass the model name. That's basically it here. And now let's call in the tokenizer. So now we need to prepare our data. All right, so let's have this variable expanded data, because we're going to multiply, or we're not gonna have that much data, but we're gonna multiply it by 100, so we have a lot of data to train. Now let's call in this guy, dataset. All right, so here we're just gonna loop in our dataset. We're gonna go by the keys each row, all right? All right, so we're done there. So let's have another one here, another variable here, and now we'll have to call in the lower configuration. So if you were to want bias in your training, you would specify it here. All right, so we're almost done here. So now we need the training arguments for everything. Gonna be all the training arguments that we're gonna use. So we're almost done. Now let's create a trainer where the model is actually gonna train. So trainer here. All right, so this is basically what you're gonna pass to the trainer, passing the model, passing the training data set, passing the lower configuration, everything that we created before, the tokenizer, and then the training arguments. And now we have to call the trainer, and then trainer, the train here. You just ignore the errors, don't worry about that. But this is pretty much it. That's pretty much what we have to do here. Okay, so this is the training data set, and this is what we're going to feed to Llama 3. So this is what we actually are grabbing in our data set class, and then we're just grabbing it by the text here and then putting it in the new format. But yeah, they're just questions, and these are the tokens. This is how the model recognizes and learns from these patterns. So this is the question. You're gonna see the answer right here. So this is what we are going to train Llama 3. So yes, looking forward to that. And let me just save this class here, and then let's open the terminal here again, and then touch. Then let's call API apply really quick, and then we're gonna jump into it. All right, so now we're gonna create an API with Flask. All right, so it's pretty simple. We're just gonna have one endpoint. We're gonna import Flask here, so we're getting it perfect. So from Flask, we need a few other things. We need request, we need JSON5, and we need a response object as well. Response, this one, course as well from Flask. All right, so let's create the API here. So let's call in Flask. Now below here, let's call in course, and then let's pass in the app. Run, calling the run method, and here we have to pass in the host. So host, let's just put for simplicity 0000000, and also let's put debug false so we don't get annoying debugging messages here. All right, so that's pretty much it. So now we need to use the model. So model here, and let's call in our auto tokenizer model class here. Let's call in these weights, and this is where the model is actually going to be. We're gonna modify that later, right? So weights here, model weights, and now we need to do the same with the tokenizer. Now let's create our pipeline. So pipe, so calling here the pipeline method, and now we just are gonna pass all the configuration here. So let's all right, perfect. So this is the pipeline. Now let's create our routes, all right? So our endpoints. So we just have to call in here app, the route here, and it's gonna be a post method. Ask Oops, forgot the parentheses. Now let's grab the data from the request that's gonna come here. So JSON method. Now let's put the prompt in a variable prompt. So now let's put just a simple check here, so we don't have a prompt. So if we don't have a prompt, we're gonna return an error rate. So now if we have the prompt actually, so let's grab the result. It's gonna come from the pipeline, so from the pipe function. So pipe here, open pipe, and we're gonna have to grab the data from the prompt. And I already have this because I already tested. So just copy and paste this part. So now let's put this last variable here. So last response rated text. Sweet. So that would be it. So now we can just return. So let's call in JSONify. And this is basically it. This is gonna be our API. Just follow along right now, and I'm gonna show you, but the checkpoints is what you get after training. So basically it. So, and this is the inference part. We have the train model, and we're gonna bring it. We're gonna bring in the weight. We're gonna call the model and the tokenizer, pass in the weights, and then create a pipeline to generate text. And then we're gonna put that on an endpoint and an API. Simple, man. All right. So now that we have that, we're gonna have to test that before using it in our Shopify application. So I'm just gonna show you that. I'm not just copy and paste that file because I don't want to type it. So just open the terminal here, so touch and then loop the py so we can test in real time. So let's come here to loop, and it's basically the same what we did on the API, but instead of putting it on the API from Flask, we're just gonna put a while up here and then prompt again and again and again so we can test our questions. So yeah, that's pretty much it here. So we have our backend. So we're going to commit this to GitHub, and we're going to put it on our server to start the training. Chatbot backend, create a repository. Perfect. So now let's clear here. Just make sure. So now git add commit so here first commit push origin, and now we have push it. So now let's just verify in case. Let's verify these guys, and these guys are here. Perfect. So we have the four Python files here. So we're almost ready to test the chatbot, because this is probably what you'll want to watch the tutorial for. So now we have to host it somewhere, right? So now we're gonna go here to RunPod. This is where you can find a server with a GPU. Let's find the GPU that we're gonna use. I have to have a strong GPU. I'm just gonna go overboard here just in case, because I don't want to do this again. So we're gonna have 200 gigabytes of hard disk. Let's put set overrides, and yep, almost forgot here. We need the port 3000 open because this is where the server is gonna run in 41 PM. All right, so now everything's setting up procedure. All right, so now we have to connect. So I'm just going to connect here. All right, so it's detecting this. This is good. So let's go start, and let's open the web terminal. Nice. So now we have it. So and there you go. We have a GPU, a sweet GPU. So let's go to workspace right here. I'm just gonna update and upgrade all the dependencies really quick because I'm gonna need the upgrade. I'm gonna need Beam to, in case I have any typos on the other file. So install dependencies, update, install Beam now. Why here? All right, we have that. We are in our workspace here. So now we need to create our BNB. So Python 3 m BNB env. Sweet. So now source. Let's just check. Source env bean activate. All right, so we're inside. So pip list. All right, so just go ahead here and copy this part. Perfect. We have it. So now we need to git clone our project. that would be the next step. So come here and do it to HTTPS. All right, so let's verify everything. All right, perfect. Now we have everything inside our API. We're almost ready to start training. So just come here. This is your Hugging Face account. Come here, go to access tokens, and then you have to create an access token here. Put all the permissions. That's my recommendation. And I already have a token, so I'm just gonna invalidate this guy, put it here, then grab this guy here, paste it here in case. Just come back here. Oops, where? Now done, and now just Hugging Face CLI login. All right, so now you have to just come here, grab the token, and perfect. Now we have it. So that's way number one to do it. So the second way would be here. You go, we're gonna trim rate. So you come here and then just paste it. It's on. Paste it here. So we have everything. Let me just verify because I'm good. So we have the training here. We have the data set. Nice. Perfect. So now let's see if everything works. So we're gonna start the training. So Python 3, and then we're gonna run or train the Py file. This is gonna take some time as well. We're almost there. So after everything's ready here, we're going to just test it really quick. But you can basically train it to learn whatever you want. So yeah. All right, so we have the training results right there. And let me just put Beam here and I'm gonna show you. These are the training results and these are the checkpoints I told you about before. And yeah, so what we have to do now is test, right? So Python 3 loop the Py. Oh, I think did I? Not really sure if I put the. Oh, let's see if it works. I think I forgot to put the checkpoint on the file. All right, it's working. Never mind. So let's ask some questions. So for example, let's ask what products do you sell? Now we have to wait. So here's the question. So this is the question, and then the second one, it's the answer, right? Do you offer free shipping? Do you offer free shipping? So you can just check the data set and you're gonna see all these questions there. Now that we have learned that it's working, we can just come here and I'm going on the API. So one want to test it with our front end, right? With the Shopify application. That's gonna be the cool part. So let's just verify everything here is ready. It's ready. It's working. Be ready. Python 3 API the Py. All right, now it's loading the charts or the checkpoints or the weights, whatever you want to call it. Let's wait. Guys, CUDA. All right, sweet. We have the API running. Perfect. Let's. We're gonna have to grab now this URL. So come here, just grab it, and we have to come back to our Shopify application. So in this Shopify application here, let's go to the server and inside here. All right, so this would be the API endpoint that we're gonna call, right? So now how do we test it? All right, so we need to call in this function. So we need to come here, and now we need to call on our method, right? Fetch bot response. So now we need to grab the data from the request, right? So we need to transform data and wait request the form data. So from here we're gonna grab the user message. So there's some casting here, and we have to put a try and catch. Let's have a try and catch in case we have any problems. Catch. Let's grab this guy, let's put it here, and now we need to pass in, well, we have to have a little check before actually. So if the user doesn't pass empty string, so yeah, let's put a check here. So perfect. Now if everything's successful, so we're gonna pass in the user message to our API, and then let's const bot response. Let's grab the cost response, and then we have to return it. Return, let's grab in JSON here, and then let's just pass it. It's just bot response. So yeah, let's go here to the Shopify application, server's running. Now let's go here to Shopify. Where's our application? Chatbot. So let's open this, but we're not gonna see anything here, just in case. Send. Let's just comment that for now. Let's put this guy here, comment line. So we can try that again. Let's refresh. So we're gonna have our endpoint here. So we have a 500. I'm missing prompt. I'm supposed to send it as an object with a prompt key. This is what happens when you don't read the logs. Can't come here. You have to come here to this function. Now let's send this as an object actually. So he. Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be it. So let's come here. Let's refresh. So here, let's just send the message. Let's see what happens. All right, now we have a sweet 200 response. Let's go check the backend. Would be here. And now we have a 200 response. Now it's answering. Now that it's working, so we have everything ready. So now let's finish the chat. All right, so let's finish the chat so we can trim all the answers and just display them nicely on the chat box. All right, so basically we have to send messages. So we're probably gonna have some state. We're definitely gonna have some state here. So let's const messages, and as a start it's going to be an empty string. Okay, so let's put here message, and then let's call in JSON the stringify, and let's put the message. Oh my goodness, what happened here? So messages, current messages. So perfect. So we're gonna send the current messages here. Now we need to probably gonna empty them right after this call. So after here, let's put set current message to empty again. And now we have to put our set current messages, so that's gonna come from our input, right? So we're gonna come here, and now we're just gonna need an onChange attribute here. Let's put the event here and then set current message here, open parentheses, an event, the target, the value, right? All right, so now let's keep I think we should we have to display the messages as well, and I'm gonna need a few states for that. So I'm gonna need loading states too. So let me come here, and now let's start with just little by little here. So actually let's just copy this guy, put this guy here. Need messages as well, right? So set messages, and this is gonna be the state for the messages on the chat box, right? So set messages, and this one is actually gonna have and now this one actually is gonna be an object here, and we're gonna have a sender and then a text, which is gonna be the message. It's actually gonna be an array of objects, right? So here let's specify the type so TypeScript doesn't get mad. So just sender here, and then it's gonna be a string, and then text, it's gonna be a string as well. And next to the here, let's make it an array, right? This is gonna help us avoid when we type into the input field, it doesn't reload what we already got from the API. So is response complete. All right, so now we're gonna need a method to extract the chat and format it, because remember our messages are in between our tokens or inst tokens. So we just pretty much have to replace it and then split it and then grab the parts, right? Remember the answer is always in between the second and the third token. Response is going to be the type of string is clean response. Let's replace this guy now. All right, so we're gonna replace these inst tokens. How do I say it? We're gonna replace all the inst by these ones, because our questions have our slash like this, and then the answers have it backwards. So we just have to replace them for all of them to have this one to be consistent. Then we can split it, and then we can grab the responses that we want. So let's clean the response here and then split. So since now all of them, like I said, since now all of them have it like have the same token, we can just split it easily. So here just and yeah, we're grabbing it. So now let's check. Oops, no capitals. So we're gonna grab this guy. So if the parts, the length should be -3, right? Minus or equal to 3 parts 2, and then let's trim it. Alright, inside our handle submit, let me put some state here. So set is loading. Let's put it to false here after it's done fetching. Set is response complete. This is also gonna be false here. And now set messages. Alright, so inside here we're gonna have an arrow function, because we're gonna grab our previous messages and combine them with our new messages, because we don't want to lose the history of the chat, right? Alright, so now we're gonna have a use effect, because we need to grab the data from the fetcher and also update it into the chat, right? So use effect here. So let's have an if statement here, and inside this if statement let's check. Alright, so we're gonna check the fetcher. Let's check the fetcher state first. So if the fetcher state is equal to idle, all right, so idle here, so nothing is happening. And let's check if the fetcher, the data that bot message, right, bot message, and I think TypeScript is going to complain here, and then we have to check the is response is the response complete. We're going to first grab the message, so const bot message. Let's put a variable here, and we are gonna use our method to extract the message cleanly. All right, so fetcher, let's put the fetcher, the data here, and then both message. Now we have to add the bot message into the array like we did before with our messages. In this case, you would stream the data, so it would come chunk by chunk, but I'm not gonna really do streaming here because the tutorial is gonna be longer. So I'm gonna do kind of a simulation of streaming using a Node.js timeout. All right, so I'm gonna set an interval, and I'm going to grab the data inside the interval. All right, so just simulating a streaming here. All right, chunk size. Now we need the interval, so interval here, and this guy is gonna be of type Node.js. Inside here, let's create a method that's gonna be called, all right, so to simulate the streaming, so simulate streaming. So we're calling it below, so let's put it here. Simulate, grab the interval here. And now we're gonna set an interval. This is gonna grab the first chunk of the data. Now we have to just put our messages inside our array, right? Dynamically, so set messages. So now here, let's grab the last message. So the last message is gonna be here, plus the length of the last digit. So now we need to check if the sender is the bot. So see, let's check the last sender. So here so if it's the bot, we're going to put the message like before. We're gonna combine it with the previous messages. So again, this is basically what we did before. So instead of grabbing the entire message, we're putting chunk by chunk into the array messages, and that's going to give the effect of ChatGPT or Grok. The messages are coming in a stream. Else it's gonna be pretty much the same. So return. So all right, so let's format this part, and now we need to put the dependencies of the use effect, right? So it depends on the fetcher state. So if the fetcher state changes, this thing is gonna trigger. So fetcher state, it depends of the fetcher. Oh man, here it depends on the fetcher data too. So fetcher the data. Let's see what else it depends. So it depends on the current message as well. Current message. All right, so now we're almost finished here. Now we have to inject the stream into our UI, and then we're pretty much done. So let's come here, let's open the chat body, and now let's put everything dynamically here. So let's put some JavaScript inside here, and now let's check if the messages, the length. So if the length it's more than 0, we're gonna do something. Okay, so if it's more than 0, let's do something here. Else we're gonna have something here. Now let's gonna have the welcome, how can we help you, maybe. Yeah, so let's have a p tag here. Now if the messages are coming here, so let's map these messages, and now we're gonna grab the message, so here, and the index, so an index of each message, right? So put on our div or index here. We're only missing one more here, so let's put this below here. And now if it's loading, we're gonna show a little message here. So if it's loading, we're just gonna display a p tag here, and then like and then we're gonna display bot is typing, right? So all right, so we're pretty much done in this body part. We need to update the CSS. I'm just gonna copy and paste the CSS from my previews from my practice project here, so you can just see it on the GitHub. But I have to actually add a few values here. So hold on, so text, this is gonna be of the type text. All right, so now that we're done here, let's go to the CSS class, and let me just paste the new CSS. And here's the new CSS. Just you can just grab it from the repository. This is gonna be on GitHub. So these are the icons that we're gonna have for the chat, and then the close chat. And something I also forgot is that we never injected the function here to close the chat. So let's also do that. It's called toggle chat box. So on click, All right, so I think we're pretty much ready. Let's let me just go here to the server. Everything should be working. Now let me just check my pot. $15. It's consumed $5 so far, and yeah, it's kind of expensive. It's been a little bit, I think an hour. So let me. So these are the messages I've been sending. These are logs. I'm logging the prompt and then the message. So here we have the chat. All right, so I have the data set here. So what products do you sell? Let's see. So it's gonna take some time, but here you have it. We offer a wide variety of electronics, including smartphones, tablets. Let's ask just a normal question, so to see what happens, because I didn't train it on this kind of data, but you can really train it with whatever you want. So what payments method do you accept? All right, so no, it doesn't. You have to train it with this kind of question. So how do I track my order? Let's see. After your order ships, you will receive a tracking number via email. How can I cancel my order? You can cancel your order within 24 hours of placing after the order. All right, perfect. So it's working. So this was the tutorial. I hope you like it and enjoy it. Please, if you like, share, a like, comment if you have any questions, and all the code is going to be in GitHub. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.